Everyone, and welcome to the Malizia Vendée Globe Live Show. We are on week 7 of the show. Can't believe it. We're here. It's great to see so many of you with us this week. It's been an exciting one. We've seen some crazy weather, and we are going to talk to you about the tactics, the weather that's been going on, and how the future is looking. I am joined by Will Harris, who's actually joining us from the UK, who's there for Christmas. Hi, Will.
Hey guys, how you doing? Got my nice decorations in the back.
The beautiful tree. And we are joined by Pifou, our tech director from Team Malizia. Pifou has been with us now for over 2 years. I think you joined us at the partway through the ocean race, and Pifou comes though with a lot of experience. I mean, maybe 12 years or more, I think, in Imoca, and with Chirel, Matricock, and is also a sailor himself. So he's going to be answering our technical questions this week. Nice to have you with us, Pifou. Thanks.
Yeah, hi, everyone.
We have a little video actually of Pifou before I introduce Cole. Here you go.
It's super nice.
You want a tropical beach?
It's nice. Did you try the heater a bit?
Blue and I think the sheets at least.
Perfect.
I love that video so much of Pifou. It just shows that he comes on the boat, he grinds for us, and then he tells us what to do, and then he's looking after everyone. Then. He just comes in and does all the hard work for us.
And I left you till last, Cole, because I think you had, of course, some interesting times this week. So how's it going for you, and maybe what's happened your end?
I'm all good. I'm happy to be here. Actually happy to have power, and I had a blackout that had happened, which funny enough, we had talked about blackouts because of Sam Davies' blackout that had happened last week. And then of course, Murphy's Law, it happened to me for about, 8 hours or so. Not super fun. I've had one before, and it was a lot shorter. So, it's been great.
We are very happy that you could make the time to be with us, even with all that happening. So my message this morning, are you sure? Are you free? So it's very nice to have you with us. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
We start with 1 to 10, how everyone's feeling and why. Maybe we start with Pifou, because you're new to the 1 to 10. So you have to tell us how you're feeling from 1 to 10 and the reason why.
The feeling is good. We are very, very happy to be close to the Cape Horn. And last call with Boris, he was really happy to be here, even if there is a less wind than planned, but Will can explain that. And all good.
What's your number though?
9.
Oh, 9. Okay, nice.
He's in a good mood.
Will, how about you?
I think this week I'm 8.5. I think it's always my favorite time of year. I'm a very Christmassy person. I love everything that goes on around it, and really lucky to be at home this winter for it. Not doing any sailing races this year, so that's always good. And been really enjoying watching Boris work his way up the tracker. He's slowly sort of reeling in that group ahead of him, and I think probably everyone is the same. Every time you get that tracker update every 4 hours, and it's he's gained some more miles. It means that the next 4 hours for me are also a good mood, I think. So it's been lots of that recently.
Definitely. And how about you, Cole?
I think I'm the lowest I've ever been. So I think I'm a 6. I got a stomach bug when I was in Cape Verde last week, and it still stuck with me. And so I did an IV earlier today just to get my hydration back up. And now I'm in the doldrums, so it's in and out of squalls and things. So I cannot wait to just be past the equator this evening, and then I'll probably be back up to a 10.
Well, we're sending you all the good vibes through the internet.
Thank you.
I'm feeling a 9. I was actually feeling less, but now seeing you guys has made me feel a 9. So
We've perked up your Monday, right?
exactly. I'm enjoying. I can hear Cole's sailing noises. It's making me feel like I'm with Boris.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's only one person who that noise is coming from right now. Like,
I know. Let me turn off.
there's definitely no boat noises any of us, but
I was enjoying it.
yeah.
So we saw earlier, Boris has been now past Point Nemo over the weekend, which is exciting. I mean, it's been pretty rough, I think, for him. He's been a bit quieter maybe than normal, I would say. Still very in contact, but it's been quite a lot going on. And he's now 9 hours behind UTC. So I think it's around 8 a.m. for him at the moment, maybe give or take a bit. So he's kind of at the other end of the day. Am I right there, Will, or is it?
Yeah,
Yep,
pretty
I am
much
right.
there.
Okay.
But it's every 3 days, it's getting an hour closer to us. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's pretty.
he's
it's
coming
pretty
out
close.
towards us now.
Yeah.
And yeah, for people that don't realize, Point Nemo is actually the closest people to you are in the space station. So you're so remote in that part of the ocean, and the nearest sort of land is 2,700 kilometers away. So for sure, the nearest people to Boris were his competitors, and then the space station is pretty crazily far. I think even hard for some of us to imagine. So as Pifou said, it's great that he's got this far and he's coming towards Cape Horn. So that's great. We are going to go to weather with Will, because I think that's going to be some of the questions and answering some of those questions for the next part of the chat.
Yes, sure. Okay, so hopefully you can all see the screen now. Yeah, I should have put Point Nemo on the chat, but it's on the presentation, but it's somewhere about here. I think it's a really interesting area to speak about. Firstly, it's, as one of the sailors on it, it's to be feeling so remote, it's really the furthest point of rescue. I think that's, if you have any sorts of problems out there, it's going to take a week at least to have any sort of proper medical assistance, I think, to have any sort of proper doctor there to help you. But so this big bunch of boats, 4th place Tom Orient, back to Justine in 11th at the moment, is going past Point Nemo at the moment, and then the leaders, about 1,500 miles ahead at the moment, Johan and Charlie Dallon at the front here, are just about to come around Cape Horn. They'll be there probably tonight, our time, sometime in the next 6 or 7 hours. And then you've got Seb Simon a little bit on his own, because he's had to fight missing that foil. So he's not quite managed to keep up with the leaders there, but he's still doing very nicely on keeping away that next bunch behind him. But the situation at the moment, so basically the thing that's dominating the sort of southeast Pacific at the moment is this low pressure right in the south, and you can really see the circulation going all the way around like this, and then it's got this really long front associated with it, which is all a little bit messy. There's a bit of a combination, but it's actually giving the winds to this entire top 11 boats. It's giving the wind to Johan and Charlie over here. It's giving a very strong wind to Seb Simon here at the moment. He's going to see 40-50 knots at the moment, and he's got about 6-7 meter waves. And then also on the back side of it as well, you've got the bunch of boats which Boris is in, and they've got this sort of southwesterly wind, and they're jibing along the ice exclusion zone at the moment. But basically, the thing to really be looking for the weather the next few days, it's what's going up in the north. You've got this secondary low forming up over here, and that's going to travel very, very fast down the cold front associated with the big low. And the reason why this is interesting is because it's very unpredictable in the weather forecasts. It will sort of pop up and sort of disappear with each new model running. And so for the tactics and strategy, it's probably the most dynamic and interesting thing to look at for the next few days, because every single weather model will show something different. It might go this way, it might go that way, and then it might just, the position will really affect how these boats get to Cape Horn over here. So have a look at that in the next few days. It'll be quite interesting. So in 24 hours, we can see that secondary low that's pushed out in front. And the thing that's quite important with it is the boats behind, where Boris and Justine and all that group is, they're slightly behind the front. So they're in this lighter wind behind the low pressure. So although it's really intense on the eastern side of it, behind they're kind of stuck in this sort of 15 to 20 knot wind, and also it's a bit of an annoying direction. It's from the west, so they're going to have to be jibing back and forth along the ice exclusion zone. As we know, that's kind of with the Great Circle route. That's sort of the shortest route to get to Cape Horn. So going along the ice exclusion zone is the shortest route, and that's what they're trying to do. And for the boats ahead, so Seb Simon, he's going to be around where Johan and Charlie is in 24 hours. He's going to be seeing some quite strong waves and wind, but he's going to be just behind the worst of it. Reaching Cape Horn when the worst of the storm is passing through is probably the worst case scenario. So I think he's going to sneak through without being battered too much. And then Johan and Charlie, we're really going to have to keep an eye on what goes on with them, because the end of this low pressure is sort of firing them up to the Falklands, but then they've got a big area of sort of high pressure around here and not much wind, so they're really going to get stuck. There's quite a defined line, so we'll have a look at that. So 24 hours from now, we can see this. This is the waves. You can see there's really strong waves for Seb at the front, but for Boris and that group behind, it's actually lighter wind sailing for them in the Southern Ocean. So hopefully a little bit nicer conditions from Boris, and we'll hear a bit more from him. And then if we have a look in 3 days' time, so this is on Boxing Day, on Thursday, and this is on the approach for Boris and that further group back towards Cape Horn. They've got quite nice conditions. Cape Horn's also marking the 70% way to the finish line, so they're really taking it in big chunks and big strides of getting to the finish here. But interestingly, up ahead, we can see how there's a little low pressure off the coast of Brazil, and then there's a bit of a high pressure ridge that's defining itself here. And really what it means is that top three boats are all going to be compressed really close together. We can see Seb really closing up that gap to the other boats, and this is just a first sort of basic routing, but depending on their strategies, we could see them really close up. And in 4 days' time, so on Friday, when Boris is going around Cape Horn, we can see these two boats are going to have to really choose their strategy. The leaders are going to have to choose their strategy of how to get around the high pressure, and we could see those top three boats squishing up together. But yeah, it's the most exciting part of the race, I think, coming up after Cape Horn. But for now, Boris and that group further back are going to have to focus on getting around it in 30 to 40 knots of wind, and probably 5 or 6 meters of wave. So nothing too extreme. But it's going to be, yeah, they've still got a bit of Southern Ocean to go. So.
And so that means, Will, that we will be closing on the kind of front pack as well, I guess, this big.
Yeah, exactly. So the distances in about 4 or 5 days' time is about, that second pack's going to be about 1,000 miles away from the leader. So at the moment they're 1,500 miles away. So a nice sized gain, but definitely it's going to be a bit more for Seb, and who's 500 miles behind the leaders. He's going to be able to squeeze up to the others, and then after that it's kind of anyone's game still. The South Atlantic, as we remember on the way down, you've got lots of those early depressions forming on the sort of semi-permanent cold front, so the conditions are changing every few days. We can really only look into the next 3 or 4 days and be really clear about it, and often you'll see big strategy differences between the fleets. If we think about the last Vendée Globe, between first and fifth, they were 1,000 miles between first and fifth place, and by the time they got to the equator, there was less than 50. So anything can happen, really. Yeah,
definitely. So we will come more to that in a minute, like who's struggling, what's the condition of the boats. I think we've had many questions about the Capsize topic, the voice note from Boris. I'm going to play it for you in a minute, and then I think Pifou is going to talk us through what that meant. So let's play the audio first.
I was sitting in my seat when the boat would nosedive into a wave and really pitch down a lot, and I felt, this is not normal. There's something is going to happen, and the Janiker then is backwinded against the mast, the keel on the wrong side. So I suddenly stand on the side of the boat. The boat capsized. Then the tricky part is how to get the boat turned downwind and preserving the mast by dealing with the sails, not let them flap too much, then otherwise the sheets will tangle up everywhere, and get the runners managed.
So So there, Boris sounding very calm, but a pretty stressful situation, it sounds like. Pifou, we had a lot of people imagining, I think, the boat going all the way around, but maybe you can explain a little bit what happened for Boris here.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, it's not a total capsize. It's just when you have a lot of waves, sometimes you can lose the load on the rudder, and it can happen if you have an impact of the rudder, for example. But it was not the case when it happens on the boat, just because of the heel. You start to lose the load on the rudder, and the boat goes until to be in front of the wind, and it tacked. So you finished on the wrong tack, and as you said, you have the keel on the wrong side, all the stacking on the wrong side, and the sail on the wrong side. So you go heeling a lot. I don't know but how much, but it can be 45, 50, 55 degrees. So it's not 180 and it's not 90, but
Yeah.
it can be 90. It's not a drama. It's just a bit risky for sails because you have the sail on the mast and you have the main sail on the backstay, so it can be a bit dangerous for sails. But when it happened, and Will knows that better than me, Win and Connie know that better than me. But when it happened, just you have to do all maneuvers very slowly, check that you have your backstay and that you have your both rudders in the water, and you need a few minutes, half an hour, it depends if you have ballast or not, and to go again. And it was pretty fast. I think 15 minutes later, Boris was at 90 knots on the road, so it was okay.
Quickly. And this kind of wiping out happens more, I think, to some of the other boats, right? Like we have heard about it happening also in the ocean race. It seemed to happen more to some of the other
Yeah,
boats.
because it's, as he explained, it happened after a nosedive. So
Yeah.
when the boat stops in a wave, it stops like that, and the rudder are in the air. So you can't control the boat, and you go on the other way. And the better is to go to tack, because if you go to jibe, it can be really dangerous for mainsail. So the more you have nosedive, the more you have capsize pirouette like that. So so our boat is the hull. The design of the hull is good for big waves, so we should have less nosedives than the other.
Yeah.
But it can happen.
It can still happen. I think that's probably because the conditions are so maybe more extreme that this can still happen, I guess. And are the conditions we've been seeing in the last week, maybe, is this a bit more what the boat was built for, like this bigger waves? I think we see it in the next video.
Yeah, because the frequency, when we design a hull, we decide height of the hull, and it's easy to decide. But you decide the frequency too. And after you test the hull in waves, and if the frequency is too short, it's really hard to pass the wave, and you can't design a boat just for this condition. And last week, frequency was very, 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 very small, very short, and Boris explained that that was the first time that he saw a sea like that. So I don't know how it was, but it looks very, very short, and it was really hard even to him to pass the wave. And I think it was Saturday evening or Friday evening. He sent a message to say, "Don't worry, I have to sail a bit slowly now because it's too hard to pass over waves."
Yeah, exactly. I think he slowed down 5% or something, right, just to manage the wave conditions. And I guess better that he does that than breaks the boat, right?
Yeah. And all skippers say that. That now with the autopilot you can choose your maximum speed, So and
Yeah.
they all try to limit the maximum speed depends of waves.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a video of which was a very exciting moment here for me anyway. I'm with Marie and we were very excited about the video came from Boris of him seeing Yannick and then passing. And I think when you watch this video, you can also see these big waves because they almost cover the Amoka with its 28-meter mast. I mean, it's crazy. So I'm going to play that for you guys now.
C'est Boris! Génial! Wouhou!
So nice. Still makes me smile watching it now. Also, I think the really nice thing is how excited Yannick is. Yannick, of course, won the last Vendée Globe. And he's so excited, I think, to see Boris. It's so nice to watch.
To see probably anyone out there is probably really exciting.
Exactly. I think it's so sweet. I don't know. I really liked the video when I got it. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
I think
I mean-
the other thing with that video is like it's so hard for this. Like sometimes you see videos of like from the skippers and they're like, oh, look at the waves, look how big it is. And when you're on the boat, you look outside and you have much better like 3D perspective, I think, than what the camera shows. And then finally you have this crossing like that in big waves, and you can really see like the boat going up, and then like you see Yannick's mast just disappear, and you're like, okay, now I can really have this perspective of how big the waves actually are out there. But must be an incredible feeling to cross like that, the middle of the ocean.
so nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were a bit like drag racing, right? I mean, it seemed like for at least like nearly 2 days, it was like Yannick, Boris, or a day and a half. But now Boris seems like he's quite a bit ahead now. Will, would you say?
He's sneaking ahead, isn't he? Like just every report, just another
Yeah.
few miles, and that can make the difference. You know, you never know when that weather situation is going to happen, and then they separate. I think, like we saw earlier, they're all in this sort of behind the front, that whole group, in that lighter winds, and it kind of looks like they're all going to end up like piling up together a little bit, almost like a race restart when they're sort of 1,000 miles away from Cape Horn. So I think that will be interesting to see the next few days, like to see how they all realign and who chooses slightly different strategies. But it's for now, Boris is just gaining miles on those in front, so it's good.
Yeah, we're pushing him on. And we had another very cool moment as well this week with the snow incident. I have personally not seen so many videos of snow so far in the ocean. I don't know, did you guys experience that before? I don't think we had it in the ocean race, right? No snow.
No.
I've never had
Cole?
it.
I mean, I wanted to go to snow, so I routed myself to find snow last time I was in the Southern Ocean, but it was just a little too far of a dip to go south, and it was really only for selfish reasons, not for anything tactical. So I decided against it just to save my race. But I was already solidly in second. I was like, oh man, I've been out here for way too long. What am I going to do to keep myself busy during Christmas? And it was during Christmas time, so.
You just
You
wanted
wanted
a proper white Christmas, yeah.
I just wanted a white Christmas, you know?
That's normal.
Now I have a doldrums Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the opposite end, huh? We played the snow video here. Look at that. Sorry?
I need to change my playlist.
That's crazy.
That looks cold. That looks very
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah, it looks cold, but he looks happy about it. I feel like he's excited about the snow. Can get the Jingle Bells music going tomorrow.
Yeah. Being from Hamburg, it's like -10, isn't it, in Hamburg? So like it must.
It has been cold, yeah, quite cold.
He's used to it.
And he's used to it, yeah. I think he'll be fine. He'll get his big jumper out. He'll get the heated blanket that has now become very famous, and the Ugg boots, and
Yeah.
I think he's got quite a few Christmas things on board. I don't know. Last time I remember last Vendée Globe, we had like a playlist for him of all his friends and family wishing him a happy Christmas or telling him a Christmas thing. What about for you guys? What's been your Christmases on board? What have they been like?
I've never been at sea in a Christmas.
Oh yeah, we weren't, were we? That's my
No.
bad memory. No,
I've never been at sea, so luckily I've always been at home in my nice, comfy, warm
English
outdoor.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so lucky.
Cole can answer this one.
Yeah, Cole, go on.
Oh my God. Yeah, I missed last Christmas. I missed the New Year's before then, 2 New Year's before then. Like delivery season is always moving boats during Christmas time because you have all the stuff in Florida that starts up in January. And so normally I do miss the holidays. And so I have actually my Christmas tree is over there with my dying other Christmas tree over there. So that Christmas tree goes everywhere with me, the little felt one. That thing has a tradition now of going into my van and staying in its little package until I'm back offshore. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind it, but my mom still wants to murder me every time I'm like, so I'm missing Christmas, and she's never happy about it. This year she was very not happy about it. I mean, I'm definitely, this Christmas I spend with Elizabeth.
That's
so
different,
it's
yeah.
actually, this is really different. Normally I'm solo. So will be my first Christmas. So we have a lot of things planned, but it's also like tomorrow's Christmas Eve. So we're going to go swimming because there's no wind. So that's kind of our little doldrums. And we're crossing the equator, and she's never crossed the equator. So we're going to rub some dirty fish and cut her hair off and stuff. So
Nice. I like it. I don't know, but I remember the last 4 years ago, I think for Boris, it was more lonely at Christmas. So I think everyone at home, spare a thought for Boris and maybe put lots of nice Christmas messages on the videos because he does see them. And I think it's a bit more lonely because you like miss your family. So nice messages, guys, at home for Boris. He will appreciate them. So we're going to turn to the race and what's happening on other boats because, of course, the competition is key. So if other people are having issues, we don't know about the issues, but we suspect them. It's always interesting, I think, for people at home and me. So we have a couple of videos of issues that we've seen. So I'm going to play those for you. This one was pretty spectacular from Sam Goodchild.
I'm trying to save it, but it's steady knots of wind.
that's horrible.
Yeah, and he got it back on board intact, apparently, so that's very impressive. And the other video here, we have both them.
Quelques gouttes d'eau alors que ça fait au moins 5 heures que je suis pas venu. Et donc l'eau maintenant, elle s'écoule dans ce bidon.
So there's a pool having water coming in, which I think he's partially fixed, but maybe not fully. I'm not sure exactly what he said in the video in French, but
yeah, he said that he had a tank under the leak, and now the leak is in the tank, and he has to empty it every few hours.
oh, not fun.
I think it's been an interesting week in terms of like the sort of reliability things we've seen. Like, firstly, that video is like puts nightmares in my head because we experienced that once before the ocean race and then once during that same Southern Ocean leg, which caused the rip in the mast during the ocean race, and it was 4 of us pulling the sail on was hard. So I'm really impressed Sam managed to do that without firstly the sails didn't rip on the foil, which happened to us very quickly, and then it didn't go around the keel as well, and then he managed to pull the whole thing in. So
Solo.
Yeah,
That's totally remarkable. I don't even know how do you even
and in wind, he said it's really windy, right?
Yeah,
as well.
Windy, wavy.
Yeah, and full of think of that 180 square meters full of water. Like, it's just so much effort to pull it in. So really impressive. And
I mean, he's big, but still, like, it's wild.
That's a lot of work.
I think he has the opportunity to use the halyard. that you didn't have during the ocean race.
Yeah, it looks like he had it clipped onto the sail, so he might have managed to pull it up a little bit to help him, but still. The thing is, it's a trade-off, isn't it? You can be like, oh, maybe I can try and save this, but if you try and save it and then it ends up like wrapped around the keel or ends up damaging the mast, then you'll feel really like, annoyed if you damage something else if you're trying to save it. But he managed to get away with it, which is cool. But
Definitely.
I think interesting what we saw this week though is Chiral had the hook failure, the hook breaking, and Jeremy had to do a repair. Charlie had a repair last week as well on one of his sails. Thomas, yeah, what did Thomas have? Did Thomas break?
I think he had something on his main as well, no?
Yeah, and
and he has a blackout.
Yeah, blackout.
Yeah, the blackout.
And Sam's hook, and then Nico also had mast track problems. So it's really interesting to see at this point of the race. There's lots of problems with hooks, with sails, and with the mainsail tracks as well. It's kind of showing that the boats are starting to fatigue, and like especially in the end of the Southern Ocean, this could be like the worst moment to have these little breakdowns. Well, quite big breakdowns when it means you have to drop the sails, but. There's just been like 4 or 5 boats in that top 10 who have started having issues. So, let's see what happens this week. But fingers crossed, not too many more because everyone wants to chill during Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible thing, right? Because for us, because it means that we can hopefully gain some miles. But of course, you don't wish those things on anyone. I mean, it's like a war of attrition as well, right? Like how much can the products or the mechanics of the boats actually sustain over such a long period of time? How hard is the sailor pushing as well, right? Because
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Like how, if you've pushed a bit hard at the wrong moments, then you've maybe fatigued a bit of the equipment, and then you're starting to have these little failures. But
exactly.
So far, so good, Pifou. You've done a very good job, huh?
all the team.
Yeah.
But it's not finished, and the next few days will be a bit stressful.
Yeah.
Especially the last day before the Cape Horn.
Yeah. I still remember the last Cape Horn with some dread because we had a mainsail issue, a rip, and it was a pretty low point in the race mentally. So I still remember the stress of the last Cape Horn. But do you see anything else, Pifou, like any other teams you think, oh, they've definitely got an issue, or they're not talking about something? Any secret spy vision you've got going on?
For sure. When we receive the pause report every 4 hours, we have the position every half an hour inside the pause report. So I check if there is something wrong. And to be honest, I don't see something very clear. And I think that the first 3 boats, they know exactly when they have to push, and it seems that for sure they push a lot sometimes, but they know how to preserve the boat, and it looks that the boat is okay, but honestly we don't know. And in our group it looks more difficult. I feel that there is more issues on both in our group, and Charal and all team. I think they have some issues, but for sometimes they are slow. But after, it can be it's hard to know if it's condition or not. The last few hours, Boris is not very fast, and I don't think that they have an issue because I don't have any message, so I think all is okay. So maybe just because it's less windy that we can see on grid.
Yeah. We actually received a video from Boris just when we started this live. I'm going to play it now, but it shows you a condition on the boat. Here you go. Very cold. Yeah. Boris said that.
There is an issue with the heater. The heater doesn't work very well, and it's maximum or nothing.
Yeah.
The regulator doesn't work anymore.
Exactly.
It's too hot or too cold.
Yeah. He loves your blanket, Cole. He loves the blanket. He's like, tells me about the blanket every time we talk. So he's happy about it.
Yeah.
Very happy.
It's definitely worth it. I think that a lot of other skippers are going to end up establishing that. Like on my boat, we didn't want to add any more weight for like diesel fuel and for like the cabin's so tiny anyway that and I'm really small, that we just decided, okay, we're just going to have to deal with the humidity in the boat in the Southern Ocean. So like wiping the windows down so it doesn't drip on you, and then have your heated blanket ready to go. And it worked out pretty well. But yeah, you still have to combat that. I would run the engine once a day just to kind of dry out everything. The humidity in the Southern Ocean is unparalleled. Everything drips all the time.
Everything. Yeah.
You think you're sinking, but you're just dripping.
And maybe on things not working or working, the foil rake situation is a question that we've had quite a bit from people online. So Boris explained to us that he kind of did a semi-fix on the foil rake that was broken. And what does that mean like now? So is that fix working? What does it mean for our performance level? Maybe you can talk us through that, Pifou.
Yeah, well, since we lose the ram, we have wedges that we can put in front or in the back of the foil bearing inside the case, and he can choose the rake by moving wedges in the front or in the back. So it's not easy to do. It's 45 minutes to change the rake. So to compare, when you have the ram, it's 30 seconds to change the rake.
Yeah.
So it's a huge difference, but it's still possible to do it. And he changed the rake when he knows that it will be downwind in strong winds during 3 days. He will change it for this. And when he knows that it will be reaching or fast reaching or upwind, he will change it again. So he did it 2 times since in the last week, and all is okay. But there is something a bit tricky, that because of the load of the bearing on the case, we have a small crack in the case. It's okay, it's not structural, but there is a crack, so we have a leak of water in this compartment. And when he's fast and when he is fast starboard tack, he has to empty this water, and it's approximately 1 liter per hour. So he has to pump this water every 6-10 hours.
Okay. So not a huge issue, but a bit annoying, basically.
Not a huge issue, but on a boat at 30 knots or 25 knots, it's all is difficult. Even just wash your teeth. So when you have to clean to dry the boat, it's clearly not comfortable. But as usually with Boris, nothing is a problem.
Yeah. He hasn't even mentioned it, so I think he's not too upset about it.
Yeah, well, until we have a solution, he always say, thank you for the solution. Yeah, sorry for the issue. No, thank you for the solution.
Oh, that's nice. So
it's very Boris.
That's very Boris, yeah, thank you for the solution. I mean, it would be weird if nothing happened to the boat in any way during a race like the Vendée Globe. I think, like, to me, that would be, like, bizarre. I don't know that any boat would have zero issue. I know you're a perfectionist, Pifou, but I don't think there would be any boat that would have no issue, right?
I think you're not pushing hard enough if you don't have any issues, so...
Yeah.
I
like it, Will.
Yeah.
That is not maybe the German mentality, but
no.
But the race is still long. It's always dangerous. Sometimes after the Cape Horn, the skipper and the team can say, "Okay, it's finished," but no. And Boris knows that until the finish, all can happen.
Yeah.
So. I'm looking forward to pass the Cape Horn, to have a great check on the boat, to check everything, and after said to Boris, okay, now it's more than the Transat Jacques Vabre to finish the race, so don't think about the rival now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not over till it's over, that's for sure. So we are near the end of the show, guys. We have our 2 last parts, the promo section. This week, the question is, what is your guys' favorite hygiene or beauty product when you're on board offshore sailing? So, Cole, I think you're first on this one to give the boys a minute.
Yeah, you guys can take your second. I have a few things, of course. I have like a really, really small kit, and it has like essential oils in it, like some lavender. So like if you're slamming around in the Southern Ocean and it's blowing 65 and you're kind of like, you can feel the stress and you lose your appetite, I have like a little lavender essential oil to kind of smell and soften, and then this like face roller that like kind of rolls out, because what happens is that when you're really stressed on the boat, you get headaches, these tension headaches, really bad, and they start at your neck and they go all the way up forehead, and they can cause migraines that can last like days. So just having something where it's like it's forcing you to actually like stop like clenching, I think it's necessary. So yeah, the little roller and the little essential oil, and you're back to normal.
And I think we put that on board for Boris as well, right?
Secret.
Oh, I thought he knew.
Christmas
No,
present.
the lavender.
No.
He's lavender.
Oh, okay. He hasn't
Yeah,
found my Christmas
It's
gift yet. So like.
No. The lavender is from Marie's parents' garden, and he has it on board.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And he's smelling it. Yeah. Okay, Will, your turn.
I think my wash bag is probably a bit smaller than even that. I think like my basic ones is like obviously toothbrush, toothpaste, like soap and deodorant. I would always take that before this, but then the thing that I always like to bring offshore is a razor, because I can't really grow a proper beard, but like honestly after 3 weeks, like I end up with this horrible like gangly hair.
Like patches.
Yeah, and it's like the worst thing, and something that like after a few weeks it like really annoys me when I'm sleeping, so I'll have to like shave it off, and if I don't bring a razor then it's like really annoying. So that like mentally that helps me out as well. So
Nice.
yeah, for my a razor for my non-beard.
Non-existent beard, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And you, Pifou?
Oh, I only have some ointments for my skin, and but nothing more. I don't spend, well, I spend 26 days at sea, but that's my maximum, and I don't sail 100 sails per year, 100 days per year like Cole and Will. That's okay.
Mine would
And
be
I'm
sun
older, so now
You
I'm
already have
older.
such good skin, Pifou. Your skin is already too good.
Yeah.
already good, yeah. Mine would be sun cream, because I like sailing in warm places. So unlike
Yes,
you guys.
good idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like sailing in warm places without a roof in the cockpit as well.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah. Okay, guys, last part of the show. So the last week's winner was Joistweg, like Joistweg. So please email us. You have won the prize from last week. And this week's prize, we have actually a special prize. We know what it is. It is you win a donation to the Malizia Mangrove Park. So you donate mangroves to plant there. It's a pretty amazing park. We've planted well over 1 million mangroves now. And these create a natural habitat. They, of course, take up and store CO2, and they are amazing for bringing back species and also creating jobs for local people. So if you do also want to buy mangroves for anyone in your family for Christmas, you can do so in the link in the video. All the terms and conditions are also in the link here. And it's the first person to write the correct answer in the live chat. And the question is, this is for all you sailors, you're really knowledgeable ones, how many sails does each of the Amokas on the Vendée Globe start the race with? And so therefore, what is the maximum number of sails allowed in the Vendée Globe? Write it in the chat. Pifou, you can't say. The winner will be announced next week, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next Monday, same time, same place. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pifou, for joining us. And of course, Cole and Will. We will see you soon.
And happy
Bye-bye.
Christmas, everyone.
Oh, and happy
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry
Merry Christmas.
everyone. Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.